Hello everyone! It's time to take a look at Deadly Premonition, the Director's Cut, now for PC. This title, there has been some anticipation for it since Deadly Premonition first went through Greenlight in its way of getting onto Steam, so it's been known for a while that it's been coming. And of course, this game having been released on the 360 and the PS3, now coming out for PC, so people were excited because now that it's on PC, you know, the frame rate problems that the game had should be fixed. You should be able to play it in any resolution that you want. It should be the best version. Unfortunately, things have not gone very well for the PC release of Deadly Premonition. Well, as far as the 60 frames per second part, that is good. As we'll see, the frame rate is rock solid, though of course, watching it on YouTube, it'll look like 30 frames. As I play the game, it has been a locked 60 frames, so that has been very nice. The main problem that a lot of people have had with Deadly Premonition is that it only runs in 720p, which is a very strange thing for a PC game. One of the standard options for a PC game, any PC game, is the ability to change the resolution. That doesn't exist here. The options here are the same as they were in the console versions. Another problem that people have had is that gamepads don't work, which is kind of an odd thing, considering that this was a console game originally. It came out on two consoles, 360 and PS3. The PC version does not really have controller support, or what controller support it does have is kind of broken. I mean, fortunately the keyboard and mouse controls are quite good, I think anyway, but that is a very strange thing. I mean, maybe it's something that we should kind of expect, because it wouldn't be Deadly Premonition if it wasn't broken in some way, I guess, is one way of looking at it, but it is kind of weird that the game came out like this. Fortunately, however, there is a possibility that this might be fixed, as the person who did the patch for the Dark Souls PC port, a NeoGAF user by the name of Durante, has been working on a patch for Deadly Premonition, and he released, on the same day that the game came out, an alpha version of the patch that lets you run the game in any resolution that you want, so that includes 1080p. He's continuing to work on the patch. Hopefully he'll be able to add a number of options that people are looking for. I don't know myself as to how far he's going to go or how much time he'll spend with it, but that is very nice that someone is going to add these options to the game, which the developers themselves really should have added themselves. I'm not using Durante's patch for this video because I've noticed that when I used it, some of the lighting effects did not render properly. So maybe later on, as the patch matures, as it's improved, maybe I'll do another video where I'm using the patch. For right now, however, this is vanilla Deadly Premonition Director's Cut on PC. No patch applied. So let's just start this and see how it goes. First of all, I should mention that the game is the same as the Director's Cut that was released on the PS3, so all the changes that were made in that game are in here. That includes DLC, which now comes with the game. We can buy a house in Greenvil. I don't know if that actually ever made it into the PS3 version, or if that's new for this. But we can choose different suits for York. These were DLC suits. Each of them have a special effect. They replaced the Workaholic suit, since I guess they couldn't get their own slots in the clothing screen. You can have the Workaholic suit, or you can replace it with any of these. Let's go with Happy Songkran, because that is the ugliest suit I've ever seen, and I love it, and I want to use it. We can replace, I believe this is York's car, with any one of these. We might as well replace it with Chibi Chibi Bang Bang, why not? We won't even see that in this video, though, I don't think, because of course we're just doing the beginning of the game. We won't be getting York's car. Emily has different costumes herself. Unfortunately, they're all, let's just say that they're not exactly police regulation. I guess let's see what Emily wears on a Friday night. Let's go with that one. Whoops. And one more. The Raincoat Killer. We could choose between normal or Halloween, which is just a grayscale version of his costume. It would be nice if mod support was possible so people could make more suits and costumes. That would be pretty cool, though I don't know if that is even possible. Anyway, enough talking. Let's start the game. And I think I'm just going to skip any... Something I should mention is that you might not realize it, but a number of cutscenes in Deadly Premonition are pre-rendered. They're just video files, so I'm just going to skip any of those because there will be no changes in those. Any cutscenes that take place real-time in the game engine, we'll see because we'll see costume changes and stuff in that. Yep.
I want to hear another story.
Yes, of course. You've been waiting a long time for this, so how about a special one? This story is very strange and very nasty, but somewhat nostalgic. Do you think you can be a good girl and listen all the way to the end?
Is it a scary story?
It might be, but it's also a very important story. If you don't want to hear it, I can tell you a different story.
No, I want to hear it. This way, I won't be scared.
Will you turn on the TV then? Leave the sound down like always. Now, listen. This is important. At times, we must purge things from this world because they should not exist. Even if it means losing someone that you love.
So I lied a little bit. That one cutscene we just saw was pre-rendered. I didn't skip it though, because that was new content added for the director's cut. If you've played the PS3 version, you've seen that cutscene, but that was not in the original game. You see, the director's cut kind of changes the narrative of Deadly Premonition, changes it from happening in the present to being a story that someone is telling a little girl. If you've played the game, you know who's telling the story, but I won't spoil that. I'm not sure if I like the change in narrative, but that's what it is. Now, like I said, you won't be able to tell on YouTube, but this is running at a very smooth 60 frames a second, which is very nice. I've never seen Deadly Premonition run that smooth before. However, I also said that it had the changes from the director's cut, which means that the color treatment that the director's cut had is evident here, in which the red is very desaturated, which I'm not really a fan of. I'm sorry, I might be a bit critical about the game as we do this, because I didn't really like a lot of the changes in the director's cut.
Could you wait just a little longer?
This won't take long.
But don't worry, the angel kids are as creepy as they ever were. The controls are different. They're mouse and keyboard controls. They work very smoothly, though the digital keyboard controls are kind of weird because you kind of move in eight ways instead of having analog controls, so you kind of move all jerky like this. It works, but it's a little different than what I'm used to. Unfortunately, I think there are some timing issues in certain parts of the game. Like, for example, when you see that text, the sound kind of pops, if you can hear that. You hear that? I'm not sure what's happening there. But I've been hearing that throughout the game, unfortunately.
Sorry to keep you waiting. It will start soon.
It's about time to get started.
Zach. Zach, can you hear me? It's me, York. If you can hear my voice, could you respond? Good. I thought you went to sleep.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to skip by these, because these cutscenes have had no changes to them. So let's just go by those and get into the game. Sure, let's save. Maybe it's just me, but in the director's cut, doesn't seem to be much of a difference if our flashlight is on or off. Let's just keep it on, I guess. So, how do the controls work with keyboard and mouse? Well, we change our weapons with the mouse wheel. We attack by holding spacebar and then left-click to attack. When we use a gun, we will hold down the right mouse button in order to lock on. Unfortunately, I don't seem to be able to skip by those items screens. In the other versions, you can push a button to skip by that item screen where the item's rotating and it says you got the item. I can't seem to do that in this one. I'm not sure if I'm not pressing the wrong key or what. It's kind of odd.
Looks like we're being welcomed. Zach, I'll let you handle the meet and greet.
Did that seem a little fast to you? Maybe I'm probably just nitpicking. Certain things seem a little sped up. Not sure if that's due to the frame rate. Well, we know how this whole scene goes, so let's just try to get through the forest as fast as we can. I always thought that Deadly Premonition made kind of a bad first impression by having you go through this level to begin with, instead of getting to the good stuff right away.
Huh?
But even though there are some issues in the polish of this port, don't worry. The pickles are still here, and clearer than ever. Something I want to point out. In the director's cut, there are no difficulty levels. It's pretty much set on easy from the 360 version. So, enemies don't take many shots to kill. So, as you'll see here, we'll lock on. Access Games, or whoever did the port job to director's cut, took the complaints about the combat to heart, I guess. And they don't let you play it on hard. I don't know if that's a good thing. But hey, if you really didn't like the combat, hey, you have no possibility of playing it on anything else but easy this time.
Been through a lot of crazy situations, but that one takes the cake. It's the first time I've been attacked so directly. Zach, can you give me a logical explanation about what that was? Never mind, don't answer. Life is fun because of the mysteries. Right, Zach?
Of course, like in the original game, York still doesn't want us to tell him what's going on in case we know. It's good to figure things out for yourself. And on that subject, don't look at the achievements for this game. There are spoilers. Just so you know that. In sort of the same way that the trading cards have some spoilers, so do the achievements. Kind of an odd thing. Hold on, let me just dispatch this shadow. So I'm aiming with the mouse, but when I aim, I'm going to move the mouse around as much as I can. That's the extent that I can aim as I'm moving the mouse around. It's sort of like a little box. It's kind of weird because in that case, what you just saw, I was unable to aim at the head of the shadow, because my gun just was not pointing up that high. I don't know why it works like that. I was kind of hoping it would work like the move controls work in the PS3 version, in which you can aim anywhere. But unfortunately, no. They greatly limit the range of motion that your mouse aiming has for some reason. See, I can't aim at the head. Okay, now I can, because she bent down into position. But when she was standing up, I was not able to aim at it. I can imagine that causing some problems throughout the game. Or it would, if I didn't use melee weapons so much. I've mentioned Durante doing a fan patch for the game. Before doing this video, I noticed that the publisher of the Director's Cut, Rising Star Games, looked like they were trying to get in touch with him. So, I mean, if there was the possibility of Rising Star giving official support to the patch, that would be pretty good. My understanding is that From Software never acknowledged the patch for Dark Souls. But, you know, if Rising Star was able to work with Durante to try to make the patch as good as possible, that would be really cool. Alright, we're out of melee weapons. Well, we have the mission knife, but we're out of pipes. So let's just run by all these guys. I mean, really, they're just minding their own business. They're not doing anything. I mean, we're bothering them, really. We're invading their territory. So let's just get out of here as fast as we can. There's nothing else in our path block. Uh-oh. I was wondering which keys the game would use for the QTEs for the Raincoat Killer. It seems, so far, I've noticed having to press E and F to evade, as well as shaking the analog stick has been replaced with tapping the A and D keys.
Huh? There's definitely something in this town. Do you feel it, Zach? My coffee warned me about it. Yesterday morning, the milk I poured in my coffee made a sign. It said, "Tomorrow you'll arrive in a place that will change your fate."
And if you've played through the game, of course, you know how his fate is changed. And once again, that's not what that sign says. But yes, we are finally here. Zach. So aside from the frame rate, it seems that, as far as I can tell, all changes that were made to the PS3 Director's Cut are here, including the weird, maybe certain things that seemed unfinished. Like, if you might remember the cutscene we're about to see, the river kind of didn't have a water texture. It was kind of just all blue. It's not fixed here, but you're about to see that anyway. Oh, so tired. Oh man, York, he can't breathe that quickly. He's got to take deeper, slower breaths.
Now you were very late. I didn't think you'd keep me waiting in the rain for so long.
FBI Special Agent, Francis York Morgan. Please, just call me York. That's what everyone calls me.
Agent York?
Good, that's good. Are you the sheriff?
No, I'm Deputy Sheriff Emily Wyatt. George, he's the sheriff. He went looking for you, actually. He should be back soon.
I see.
If you don't mind me asking, did you walk all the way here?
My car broke down, that's all. She's easy on the eyes. Definitely worth a trip to the primitive world.
By the way, don't mention anything about what happened back there. She'll think you're a psycho. Don't want that, do we, Zach?
Welcome to Greenvil. I'm the sheriff, George Woodman. Call me George.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, just call me York. That's what everyone calls me.
Could you tell me why the FBI is so interested in a small-town homicide?
Let's just say it's a personal interest in killers of young women. I'm always looking for new sample cases to help me with my profiling.
Both our superiors have cleared this with each other. You can remain in command. You don't have a problem with this, do you?
No. No problem. Just want to set things straight. Our small town has its share of problems. I'm the one fixing them one by one and maintaining peace and order. You can have your profiling sample, but I need you to understand that.
Of course. Of course. By the way, George, I had a little accident with my car. Could you send someone to take care of it? Oh, and my clothes and luggage are still inside.
All right. Don't worry. I'll get my assistant Thomas to take care of it. Do you need anything else?
Thanks. That'll be all. Well then, I think I'll rest up first at the hotel. Then I'll join you on your investigation.
Don't know how to say that. We really don't need your help. Unlike some of your corrupt city police officers, I play it by the book. I hope you'll come to appreciate that, Agent Morgan. And we'll handle the investigation. You just think of this as a vacation. Take it easy. Enjoy the nature here. You don't have to be a tree worshiper to appreciate the wildlife here.
Zach, let's reassess the situation. There are no cavemen here. We're as far forward as the Middle Ages. And we've just met the king.
With the prologue completed, let's just continue moving on, so we can at least see that new suit and try to get out into the world and start driving around. Well, we already know what happened previously during the investigation.
It's broken. I've been using that one for a long time.
Why don't you get it repaired? This TV is important to you, right?
It's got some memories attached to it, sure. I used to watch movies on this thing with your grandma all the time.
Grandma liked movies?
Of course she did. Everyone loves movies, right?
I love movies too. I've never been to a movie theater though.
And York's just so tired. He's still exhausted from all that running. But he has to slow down those breaths. Alright, there we go.
York!
Can probably just skip that part, yeah.
Like this! Cover your mouth!
Left control to hold our breath this time. You know, thinking about it, when we played through Deadly Premonition, we didn't really use the breath-holding mechanic very often, did we? Almost never, really. The game does make a big show of showing you this, to begin with. But, it never came in very useful against the shadows. Perhaps in the original vision for the game, where there wasn't going to be combat, maybe holding your breath would have come in much more useful. But as it is, we didn't use it much at all, really. Alright, let's get past that. Right, we wake up in our incredibly huge bed.
Zach, the symbol.
We get up and we have to have coffee, and our tie is through our
Let's
back.
head to the cafeteria, Zach. I hope they have some real coffee. I really need some coffee. Then we can head to the sheriff's office. There's a proper procedure for everything, right, Zach?
Okay, we managed to get our tie out of our back. It was stuck there, but now it's not. Okay, now that we've done that, let's change clothes. So like I said, we can replace the workaholic suit with any of the DLC suits that come with the game. So we're replacing it with Happy Songkran. I don't know what a Songkran is, but we get money rewards ×3. That's going to be useful if we want to buy that house. I don't know how much the house is, but I have to imagine that can't be cheap, right? Alright, there we are. Trendy clothes. I see someone dressed like this, and I think that they are on the forefront of fashion. Alright, let's watch the opening breakfast cutscene wearing this suit, because that's the reason to get into this suit now, isn't it?
Good morning, Mr. Morgan. Your breakfast is ready for you.
Thank you, Mrs.
Polly Oxford. Just Polly is fine.
Well then. Thank you, Polly. I'm starving.
Is everything all right, Mr. Morgan?
Did you know we could skip this entire cutscene if we don't respond?
Yes, it's delicious, Polly. My compliments to the chef.
I'm hoping my cooking will bring back repeat guests. Honestly, though, it's been a while since anyone has stayed here.
I couldn't help but notice. Aside from you and me, there seems to be no other guests or workers around.
What's that? The salt's in that white shaker there.
Thank you. I was wondering if there were any other guests or workers here.
Oh, no one else. My husband and I used to run this place, but he's in heaven now.
You've been working here alone since then. Must be hard by yourself.
Oh my, we're all out of pepper. I'm very sorry.
It must be difficult to run a hotel by yourself.
Well, yes, I suppose. I could just live on my pension, but I have to admit, running a hotel is kind of like a hobby of mine.
That's nice. Polly, it might help to hear you better if you could sit a little closer.
Oh my, Mr. Morgan, you're embarrassing me. So early in the day, too. I think I'm a little too old for you. And I still love my departed husband. May God rest his soul. I appreciate the invitation, but I'm fine over here.
Polly, I can hardly hear you from all the way over there.
You're exaggerating. This is fine. It won't do to be all clumped together with such a large table and cafeteria. We have to make use of all this space. Now tell me, that wound on your face, what happened?
Let's just say I had some trouble during the last case I was working on. I'm sure it'll heal. It's just a flesh wound.
Oh my, well, there's no need to be the tough guy here. I want you to be able to relax here. I've prepared a special room for you. A famous rock star once stayed in the same room, you know.
Really? I feel honored.
If you need anything at all, just let me know. I'll help you out in any way I can.
Zach, the lady is offering to help. Do you want to ask her about the town? Say, Polly, what can you tell me about this town?
Well, let me see. You might know this already, but the town is called Greenvil. It rains here quite often, but it's a nice place, surrounded with nature. It was a big and prospering lumber town until not so long ago. We used to have a population of over 6,000 people. Less than a tenth of them left now. This hotel was built back then. We saw plenty of guests in those days.
That's why this place is so big for such a small community.
I have so many fond memories from back then. I suppose the clock on the community center is quite famous too.
The clock?
Oh yes, it's lovely. It rings in the morning and at night to let the whole town know the time. You'll hear it many times during your stay. It's a beautiful sound. And you'll love it too, I think.
I look forward to hearing it then.
Anything else you'd like to know about?
Yes, actually, Polly. Could you tell me about the shops around here?
Shops? Well, there aren't many. It is a small town, after all. You can do most of your shopping at the Milk Barn convenience store. The couple who run it are a unique pair. I'm sure you'll get to like them. The A&G Diner is a great place to eat. They might be open even if my kitchen is closed. If you want to go to a bar, there are two. The Galaxy of Terror and the Sweary 65. I don't care much for either of them. Bars are for the younger folk. We also have a gas stand, of course, the art gallery, and even a gunsmith. You should be able to find what you need.
Thank you, Polly.
Well, Mr. Morgan, I'd better start cleaning up. You just take it easy. I'll bring your coffee out in a moment.
Thank you, Polly. I have to warn you, though, I am very particular about my coffee.
The very best you have, please.
I understand. I'll be right back with it.
Did you see that, Zach? Clear as a crisp spring morning. F.K. in the coffee. I knew I could count on it. Never fails. Now then, let's get going.
Yes, indeed. Let's get going and see what we want to do for the remainder of this video. Since now we can leave the hotel and we're going to get a car, we can drive about and see what's available to us. We could see what Polly has for sale, but let's just skip that. You might notice some sound glitches there, where it just kind of cuts out entirely.
Police car. So we have King George to thank for preparing a car for me. A pleasant surprise, eh, Zach? Let's take it for a spin. I have to tell you, Zach, this place simply amazes me. The keys were left on the front hood, and nobody stole the car. Values. This town has what the country needs. Values. Let's head over to the sheriff's department.
Alright, now, as we remember, one of the most challenging parts of Deadly Premonition was mastering driving the car. So let's just see if we can see what the important parts are that we need to learn here, that we just need to remember. Okay, headlights there. Side brake, I wonder what that means. Signal left, signal right, wipers on, wipers off. Okay. So yes, I think we have down the important parts, the essentials of driving. If we want to be in compliance with FBI regulations, as we remember, we need... Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, we're ready to do some investigating. Let's start moving. You know, there are a few things that we could do. Oh, hold on. York has something to say.
About those bonus features in DVDs nowadays. You know, the ones from the 80s have almost no bonus material. Even if they do, it's a trailer and the visual quality is pretty bad. Well, that visual quality is a good reminder of those days. So many new audio and visual appliances were coming out back then. Do you remember the first video deck we bought? We bought it to record one of the Star Wars movies on TV. And remember when that video store opened, we spent hours there, just trying to find a good movie to rent. There weren't that many to choose from back then. I remember renting some really bad ones after reading those back cover taglines. Hey, remember? Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, filmed in 1978. Produced, directed, written, and edited by John DeBello. It was really awful, but for some reason I still remember it pretty well. It had so many sequels, and the original was re-released in '95. The 87-minute-long theatrical release bumped up to a whopping 90 minutes. But that was around the time I joined the Bureau. I never have a chance to see it.
I know, Zach. Once this case is over, we can watch it together.
I bet we can buy a copy on the internet pretty easily.
Trying to figure out how to do the quick turn with the car, which I believe, if I remember right, was just braking and then pressing the direction you wanted to swerve into. Doesn't seem to be working, though, with this car, with these controls, using the keyboard. So, okay, we can use the mouse to look around, as an attentive driver should. And like I was saying, there are a few things we can do. We're supposed to go to the police station and catch up with George and company on what they've got going on, but there might be other things we can do. Okay, oh, we can bring up the map, which now can be overlaid onto the screen. Fancy. I wonder if anyone is about, though. Hold on, let's go to that pink house. That house was always labeled as pink, I think, in the PS3 version. And it was suspected that that was the house you would be able to buy. Let me just see if that's available right now. Because I don't know how the house buying works in this game. Alright, looks like we can go up to the door of that house. There are glowies. So let's see if we can do something here.
Zach, is there something here that you want to check out?
We're supposed to go through Anna Graham's file at the sheriff's office, but if you want to act on a hunch, then I'm with you.
Alright, looks like something is here. Alright, now this is new. I have not seen it before. We can sleep in this house we just walked into, or change clothes, if we so desired. But is there a way to actually buy this house? I'm not seeing anyone here to talk to about buying it. That's probably an exit. That's where we came in, right? Alright, our toolbox. This is probably, yeah, the bathroom. No reflection? Okay. Looking good there, I guess. Alright, the Greenvil bathrooms, in which the toilet area is a separate room from the rest of the bathroom. Forgot about that. And the bath also has its own separate room from everything else. It's not a bad way to set up a bathroom, but takes up a lot of space, I would think. Alright, so we have this house. I don't know if there's anything else in the house. Or maybe we don't actually have to buy the house in the game. Maybe when it said buy the house, that meant you were buying it with real money using DLC in the PS3 version. I mean, it just came with the PC version. Can't get into that area with the TV. So I don't know if there's anything else here that we can do, or if it's just another home base we could have aside from the hotel room. It seems like that's it. Yeah. Alright, so there you go. When you buy Deadly Premonition, the Director's Cut for PC, it comes with a house. Apparently, and there's okay, the windows don't have any textures on them. They're just these white squares. What? Oh. No, I didn't mean to go back in. I guess you just automatically go in if you get near the door. I don't know what I was expecting when it said that you could buy a house in Greenvale, but, I mean, I guess this is it. It doesn't seem like there's anything else we can really do here. And where's my car? What? You know, owning a house in Greenvil, not very useful if it makes your car disappear when you go in the house. I don't mean to downplay this or anything, but I don't think this house is very useful. I'm just gonna say. Like, what are these cars parked here? These aren't my cars. Whose cars are these? They're right next to my house. Someone parked them here, but they're not mine. I can't use those. My car is not here. And I have to assume that that would happen every time I would go into the house. If I parked here and then went into the house, my car would be gone when I came out. I'd love to know where the game put the car. Huh. Well, alright, let's use our flare, I guess. Let's see. There it is. The flare, a good thing to have around in case you damage your car to the extent that it can't be used anymore, or if you use all your gas. You always want to have a flare with you, just so to make sure that you don't have to just walk around, which happened to me once when I was playing through the game the first time. That did happen, and that was a lot of fun, having to walk back to a location where there was a police car I could just pick up. Anyway, let's go to the map. Alright, here's the map. It appears that the map works the same way that it did in the console versions, in that it rotates to match your direction that you're pointing, which was always a great idea. Let's see. Who's there? A&G Diner. We could meet Nick and Olivia if we wanted to. That's Brian's house, and we can't get in there. Yep, there's... The gas station is open for business. The milk barn's open. Let's pick up some gas and then head over to the milk barn. And maybe we'll call it a video then. We'll have gone for about an hour at that point, I think. Oh yeah, it's a lot harder to maneuver around when I don't know how to do the quick turn. So that is something that if I was going to play through this game entirely, I would have to learn.
Speaking of 80s movies, one jewel in the rough springs to mind. Deadly Spawn. Do you remember that one, Zach?
Sure do.
Back in '83. Directed by Douglas McCown. Right. It was filmed pretty cheap, but still it was pretty good. The monster design with the mouth crammed full of teeth, I loved it. So many delicious B-movie cliches. Did you know that they made a sequel? But I never got to see the sequel. The rental store didn't have it for some reason. They said the staff for the sequel was totally different from the original. Wonder how the sequel turned out. You know, the monster in that one responded to sound.
Wait, Zach. Sounds a lot like the movie Tremors.
I think that one was back in '89, directed by Ron Underwood. Now that was a great role for Kevin Bacon. Masterpiece.
Zach, that one had sequels like crazy. I remember there was a fourth one. I've only seen the first one, though.
You know, it's been so long that I've forgotten my way around Greenvil. I used to pretty much have the whole thing memorized. Let's bring this up. Okay, yeah, I think I'm heading in the right direction. I just didn't mean to take this side road. Could have taken a faster route there, but I think this will get us there. Overlaying the map onto the actual screen when you're driving, that is a nice addition, I think. I mean, the cars do have a GPS. You can see it right there. Not very useful. Of course, as you remember, the police car that we start off with, not very good. We can get upgrades to the cars. We can also buy additional cars as they become available. And I assume that DLC car that we saw in the menu at the beginning, I assume that if we start buying cars, we'll eventually see that. But I don't think we're gonna be able to get to that in this video. Yeah, my ability to drive FBI style has declined greatly.
Tremors. I think Fred Ward was in it. You say Fred Ward, and I say Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. That one was back in '85, I think. Directed by Guy Hamilton. Guess Hamilton was aiming to start a series like 007, but it had no sequels. A real shame. Do you remember the martial arts they used in that film? Called Senanju? The ultimate in martial arts, using no weapons at all. Remo's mastered Chun.
You from out of town? I ain't seen you here before.
I'm Francis York Morgan, FBI Special Agent. I'm investigating the death of Anna Graham.
Do you have any info on Anna or any suspicious individuals?
I ain't got nothing to tell the cops.
What about the FBI?
Shut up.
At least give me your name.
I'm Jack. They call me Raging Bull.
That's a manly nickname.
Shut it. If you're a customer, act like one. And shut the mouth. Huh?
I don't remember if I mentioned it during the LP, but if you don't get gas before the town meeting, then you'll have an alternate introduction to Jack, as well as the Rose, when you get to the town meeting. And that goes for all the other characters that you can meet before the town meeting. You can go through the game not meeting most of them before that scene, and then you'll meet all of them when you get to the town meeting. Which is different from how it is if you decide to just go around town, wander about, and meet everyone you can, which is what we did in the LP. Then by the time you get to the town meeting, you already know most of the people there.
Jack, here's the Ben Franklin you wanted.
Give it to me. Hey there, Benjamin. I wanted to talk to you. Have you heard this yet? I'll tell you another one when I see you again.
Zach, did you see that? It was as if we weren't here.
I wonder what that was all about. Did it make sense to you?
You know, I know that they wanted to speed up the speed of the text, because I think that was something that people complained about with the original version, that the text went too slow. But in that case, it really does go by pretty fast when Jack tells you about the dart gun. And you can't see that again. It only pops up once. I already knew what he was going to say, of course, because, you know, we already played the game, but I imagine that if you didn't, that's easy to miss. Alright, let's head on inside our favorite convenience store.
So, you're the talk of the town.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please call me York. That's what everyone always calls me.
The name's Keith. A pleasure meeting you, York. Sure is a big scar. It's bigger than I thought it would be.
So, Keith, I have a couple of questions about the incident.
Huh? Sure, fire away, man.
Did you know Anna Graham?
Yeah, of course, man. Poor little Anna. She was such a nice girl. I mean, what kind of sicko would do that to her?
Well, I'm here to catch that sicko. Listen, even the smallest piece of information might be useful to me. If there's anything you noticed or want to let me know, contact me.
Okay, will do, bro. You got my cooperation, FBI.
Another thing, I'll be frequenting your store during my stay here, so I'll see you around.
Sure thing, bro. We got what you need, so drop in anytime.
And it looks like we dropped in at the right time to catch Lily, because of course she is not always here.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. And you are?
Lily Ingram. My husband owns a convenience store, and we have 2 sons. I like to think that I'm just a regular wife in a regular family, aside from the point that our sons were the first witnesses to the crime scene.
You seem pretty calm considering their involvement in such a big murder case.
You think so? I'm glad to hear that. Anyway, if I looked all bleak and gloomy, I think it would hurt our business.
Agent Morgan, about that scar.
Lily, please don't call me that. Call me York if you can. People have been calling me York for a long time.
You're a silly one.
No, not at all. I'm just a regular special agent. So what were you about to say, Lily?
Huh?
About my scar?
I'm sorry. I seem to have forgotten. It's because you said something silly.
I see. Well, if you remember anything important, just let me know.
I will.
I'll probably be making use of your store during my stay here, so I'll see you from time to time.
Okay, I'll see you soon then.
So, of course, that's Keith and Lily, and it is still the case. Whoops. It is still the case how to raise vegetables to be able to easily make. That has not changed. But USB cereal, I think that's changed. I don't think that was there before. I could go for some USB cereal. And Moe dog food, too. Creamy Choco Ball. Oh, that's the best kind of Choco Ball. Basa Bada cereal still here. So I think that's probably enough for this video of Deadly Premonition Director's Cut, now on PC through Steam, and I think as well, I think it was also released on Good Old Games. Now, should you get this if you already have Deadly Premonition, or if you're thinking about getting Deadly Premonition, or an Ool drink? No, that does say cool drink, doesn't it? The C is kind of... Okay, yes, there it is. Should you get this version? Well, I mean, it runs at for me, it runs at a solid 60 frames a second. I've heard other people say it doesn't run that well for them. People with better computers than me, so that doesn't seem to be a performance issue, but rather some kind of bug issue, I suppose. Cool 45 malt liquor. It runs at a solid 60 frames for me. It runs at only 720p without Durante's patch. Oh, yes. Gundam Tea? Really? Okay. And America Tea. Now, if it bothers you that it runs at 720p without Durante's patch, well, I mean, maybe Breakfast 2 More Whole Grain is not for you. I mean, it is weird that it doesn't allow for different resolutions just off the bat, since that's a standard thing for PC games, just like Ona Jumima is for Breakfast, and enormous boxes of Cottonelle. But like I said, there is a fan patch being made, so hopefully that'll resolve any issues with the resolution. And hopefully that'll also resolve issues with Maxwell House. Hopefully that'll also resolve issues with the game not supporting gamepads, which is also really weird since this was originally a console game, actually on 2 consoles. Yet the PC version does not have that support. Like I said, the keyboard and mouse controls work fine for me, but if you don't want to play it like that, then you shouldn't get this game, at least not right now. Wait and see if that support gets added in. I think I mentioned that some people have also said that the game has crashed for them not now and again. This is something that I have not experienced. I have not had the game crash. It's run very well for me. So, I can't comment on that, but I can comment on characteristic bubble rise with healthy vitamins. I recommend that. I don't know Heeshees milk chocolate. I don't know how widespread cases of the game having crashing problems are for people. Cherry Boy is pretty widespread on the Milk Barn shelves, though. So I can't comment on that. I can't tell you what the odds are that you might have business gifts, that you might have trouble with the game running on your system. Like I said, the game runs fine on my system. No crashes or anything. The only issues that there have been fresh issues with, of course, the game not supporting gamepads and resolutions other than 720p, at least not in New Zealand. So for me, it's run well. But will it run well for you? I really don't know. I honestly don't know. I honestly can't say for sure how many people have problems with the game crashing and for how many people does the game run fine. If you're interested in choosing Bee's Honey, is that what it says up there? If you're interested in choosing this version of the game, like I said, for me, it's fine. I don't know if it'll be fine for you. But if it does run fine, I do think that this is the smoothest version of the game, just like Happy Cola is the smoothest of all colas. Like I said, it does run at a solid 60 frames a second for me, so I have not had any trouble running the game myself. And while Durante's patch did allow me to run the game at 1080p, like I said, not everything displayed as it was supposed to, so I'm waiting to see if that patch has any improvements made to it. And if it does, as I said before, I'll make another video showing that patch and what it does. And if that's important to you, then you might want to hold off on buying the game. If resolution and gamepad support are things that you want, that you need, then this is not something to buy right now. Hopefully, those issues will get fixed, but it remains to be seen right now whether or not they will be. But I think that's it for right now for Deadly Premonition, the director's cut. That's it for right now for Agent York. Maybe we'll do something else with Durante's patch once more work has gone into it. And hopefully Rising Star will work with Durante to try to give it some official support. And we'll see. Well, we'll see. I mean, we don't know right now. We'll just see how that turns out. As for right now, what I would say about Deadly Premonition Director's Cut for PC, I like that it runs at 60 frames a second, but some of the issues it has is kind of bizarre. I don't really understand it. And it does have the changes made in the Director's Cut, not all of which I liked. I don't really like the color treatment that the Director's Cut had, but there are some improvements in terms of the environments, and the frame rate issues that were in the PS3 versions is not here, so that's good. Deadly Premonition, the Director's Cut, available on the PC now, through Steam and I believe Good Old Games. You probably know if you want the game, and you probably know if the issues I've been talking about are things that would stop you from getting the game, so at this point, this is probably the time to end the video. Of course, you know what I think about Deadly Premonition. I love the game, and I think that it's something that you should play if this is something that is at all interesting to you. But which version to get, 360, PS3, or PC? Right now, I mean, if the PC version works for you, I would probably say that since it has the best performance. But it has issues of its own. But, of course, that's your decision to make. But this was Deadly Premonition, the director's cut, on Steam, on PC, I think good old games. Hopefully it gets improved, hopefully it gets patched, but we won't know until it happens. I'll see you around.
This isn't cool, man. This isn't... This isn't cool, man. This isn't cool, man.